Welcome back, everyone, to the latest edition of the second best damn sports show, period. I'm Matt Gardner along with Chip Willett. A lot of news today. A lot of news. Chip, you there?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, I just sorry people just got off work and just zoning off.
alright.
How's it going?
It's going alright. I'm in the middle of a nor'easter up here in the northeast. But it's doable for us here in New York. A lot of MLB news. Let's start off with that. Let's start with the big one. The Cubs signed John Lester.
Yeah,
Six,
you really thought he was going back to Boston?
6 year, 155 million. The Red Sox blew it. They really did blow this deal. Um, they offered Lester like a $70 million contract at the end of last season, and Lester thought he's worth more than that. Potentially, this deal can make him 170 million because they have a club option for a seventh year at
Hmm.
15 million. So the Red Sox blew it. They offered him, I think, 6 years, 135 million, and Lester's like, my signing bonus is 30 million, and you're off on that. The Red Sox blew it, and that's just what that is. And I I don't know where the Red Sox go from here. I mean, James Shields, he's not Lester. Cole Hamels in a trade. I don't like him in the American League. In other news, Max Scherzer wants $200 million or more. And if the Red Sox are only going to offer Lester 135, there's no way we're going to offer Scherzer 200. So he's out of the bargain. We're going to have to deal with get maybe Cole Hamels or James Shields. But I want to talk about the Cubs because the Cubs have made moves. They also traded. They also got catcher Miguel Montero from Arizona for a couple
Hmm.
for a couple left-handed or right-handed minor league pitchers. They also re-signed Josh Hamill to a 2-year, $18 million deal. Um, is there anything else more than the Cubs? Not that I see on my stats, but my problem is they got pitching up the butt. This is their possible starting rotation. You got John Lester, Travis Wood, Edwin Jackson, Josh Hamill, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Jake Arrieta,
Arietta. Arietta.
Arrieta, Jake
He
Arrieta,
used
yeah.
to
And
be a
they
Baltimore Oriole.
what was that?
He used to be a Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah, and they also got Felix Dubront too. So I mean that's six decent starting pitching, but they were pretty bad last year. You know they got two more wins than the Red Sox did. But these are the Cubs' offensive ranks here. There were 26 in runs with 614. They were 27th in batting average with a 239 batting average. They were 28th on base percentage when they even 300, and they were 14th in slugging percentage at 385. Those are bad numbers. So the
Hmm.
pitching, they can keep the score down, but will they be able to score enough runs? That's the thing. That's why you have Jeff Samardzija, which I'll get to him in a little bit, who has who's a solid number two, but who has a career ERA or career win loss record that's under 500 because he just could not get the runs in Chicago with the Cubs. So I mean, will they bring in enough offense to help a Lester and to help a Hamill and to help a Wood and to help this pitching staff? That see,
Oh, it's sort of like, I mean, it's two words, Joe Madden. I mean, he did the same thing in Tampa Bay. He had them with a stellar pitching rotation, and then he had to build it up the bats as time went on with people like Rocky. Oh God, what was Rocky Coppinger? No, began with a B. But he was one of their big hitters in Tampa Bay.
yeah, I don't know who you're really talking about. To be honest with you, but I can see them contending about 2 or 3 years. I don't think next year. Oh, and the Cubs' odds from winning the World Series once they signed Lester were from 12 to 1, which was like the second best. I'm like, there's no way that Lester's going to be good enough to make this team be a World Series winner.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I think
No,
that they
that's
don't.
Joe
I don't.
Madden. Joe Madden is probably the one that gets them to do that.
I mean, I don't. I don't think that they. I don't think that they have enough offense. That's what I don't think. That's where it's going from here. I just don't think that they could be able to hit. And I heard that they might be willing to trade Starlin Castro too. So I don't know what they'll get out of him. Maybe to a team that like the Yankees who need a shortstop. Who they signed somebody from Arizona, I think, to replace Jeter, but I've never even heard of the kid, so I don't know if he'll be any good from there. Into the Rays, they hired Kevin Cash as their new manager. He was the Indians bullpen coach.
Hmm.
And the Rays are actually now. The Rays are the worst attended team in the league. I don't know if it's market. Excuse me. I don't know if it's market or if it's Tropicana Field. I've never been to Tropicana Field. I don't know what it's like, but I heard it's one of the most worst stadiums in professional sports. And
Really? I didn't know that.
And the Rays have been looking for a while to try to find a new stadium, and they've only been able to look on the St. Pete side of Tampa Bay. Now they have an agreement to be able to look on the Tampa side of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not the city, it's the region, St. Pete and the city of St. Petersburg and the city of Tampa. It's not Tampa Bay. So they're actually able to look in the whole Bay Area now for a site for a new stadium. Now, they have a lock into Tropicana Field to like 2027. So if they're able to get out of that, then I think they'll be able to get a new stadium, which may draw fans. And if the new stadium doesn't draw fans, then you know it's the area. Because the Marlins aren't drawing crap with a new stadium either. So, I mean, it could just be Florida's not really that great of a baseball state.
Yeah, it's mainly known for football. You don't think they'd try to go Raymond James Stadium, or is it too small?
For baseball?
Mm-hmm.
No, they won't do that. They'll build their own stadium. They won't go double. No way. Jimmy Rollins today has been traded to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, interesting move.
Uh,
They need it.
it makes sense because sorry guys, I can't remember the kid's name. They have a shortstop. The Dodgers do, who's not quite ready yet. So maybe 1 or 2 years, and Rollins is a good fit. I'm like he waived his no trade clause to go there. So I mean, the Dodgers look good, but they've looked good for 3 or 4 years now. And they just can't get over that playoff hump. So I don't know what this means.
But
I think,
J-Roll anchoring the leadoff spot, though, that's going to be nice.
especially that Hanley Ramirez is in Boston now, so that makes sense a lot. And let's talk about the other Chicago team, the White Sox, who signed away David Robertson, sorry, from New York, 4 year, $46 million. He will now be the White Sox closer. And the White Sox traded 4 players to get Jeff Samardzija.
I don't know if I agree with that. That's a lot of players for one player. And Samardzija, he's good, but he's not lights out. He's not shut down.
You can have Chris Sale as your number 1. You'll have Jeff Samardzija as number 2. That's a pretty decent 1-2 combination.
I just don't know if I would give enough 4 players for it, though. Maybe 2 and some money, but 4 players. I mean, unless you have that deep of a farm system in Chicago, I don't know.
And the A's, remember they traded all this to the A's against Samardzija. The A's also traded Brandon Moss for a minor league pitcher. What are the A's doing?
It's that Moneyball.
I
have no clue. I don't know what they're doing. That's okay. I mean, I have no idea what my Orioles are doing either. So
they've been sellers all winter too.
Yep, and then they sit there sell Nick Markakis to Atlanta, and then I guess the Orioles knew this because the next thing you know, Nick Markakis goes in for neck surgery. So I guess
Really?
it was. Yep. He as soon as he signed the contract with Atlanta for 4 years, he had to go in for surgery. So evidently the Orioles knew something, and they weren't willing to spend the money on him. But then now I see the Blue Jays are eyeing Dan Duquette, and Peter Angelos is pretty confident he's going to stay. But the Oriole players are like, I don't know. I mean, that's all we need. I mean, he's gotten us to where we are, and to let him go, we'll be back to square one. We'll be down in the basement with y'all next year. Well, actually, y'all will probably be doing pretty well next year.
If we get
But
pitching, we'll be great. But I,
yeah,
I don't know. I think the last bit of baseball news I have is that the Rangers have hired Jeff Bannister as their manager. He was the Pirates' bench coach.
and I just saw that they're also likely to invite Russell Wilson back for another spring training gig.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I have one more piece. Yeah. He's not gonna play baseball. Russell Wilson. He'll stay with football. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. Come on. He's he's just being a dick right now. Sorry, one more piece of baseball. The Pirates and Francisco Liriano agreed to a 3-year, $39 million. I like that move.
Yeah, I
Um,
did. I saw that too, and I think it's good.
yeah, we blew through that. Actually, that didn't take as long as I thought it would be. Take. Um, let's move on to the NFL. Cam Newton was in a car crash yesterday.
Yes.
He had two fractures in his lower back. I know what that's like. The crash is not his fault. I guess Cam Newton was going the speed limit, and the other driver swerved in his lane and hit him head on or something. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's glad to see he's okay. They're saying it's the same injury that what's his name suffered earlier this year. That Romo suffered, only missed one game when he got hit by Perry Riley Jr. On a sack right up. We're gonna have Derek Anderson starting
yep, they're
in
gonna have
place of.
they're gonna have Derek Anderson starting. Which is funny because the last game he started was against the Bucks, and he's gonna start again against the Bucks this Sunday. So we'll talk about that in our picks. The NFL has agreed to a new personal conduct policy. I do not have the details on it. Um, from what I read, it was that Goodell's actually taken a step back, and they'll be able to bring in like private investigators. I'm not saying that it'll be like private investigators, but they'll be able to privately investigate like any domestic violence or drug charge or something like that. I do believe. I could be wrong on that though.
No, I think that's exactly what it was. It's given a little more power, a little less power to Goodell, but he's still gonna have the final say. They're saying.
Yeah, which he's. I don't like that. Goodell needs to go. I mean, he baffled the Ray Rice thing. We've already talked about that, and it's just awful.
And then he's also being considered for Times Person of the Year. Did you see that shit?
Yeah, I saw that. I laughed. Who won?
Yeah.
Didn't like the
Oh,
Ebola
really?
fighters won or something? I thought that was kind of ridiculous. But
Oh, I don't even know who won. I just saw that he was in the running for it. I was like, really?
um, it's
You
been
want to stick with the NFC South and talk about how the fight broke out between the Saints and the Panthers on Sunday because of the way that Cam Newton did his Superman pose, and then um, one of the New Orleans Saints did not take well to that, and it caused a big brawl. Did you see that?
yeah, I saw it. It's I don't
Was
know
it in
what
bad taste? I mean, he does it all the time.
they were just pissed that they scored on him. I think that's what it was.
They were getting throttled,
So I
or
mean
they
I
did
don't.
get throttled.
So I don't. That division is horrible. So I don't. 5-8 is the division leader right now in the NFC South. Um, it has now been confirmed. Chiefs safety Eric Berry does have Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's sad news.
Yeah, very sad news. The guy was a great, great safety.
So I looked this up. I think after like chemo and radiation stuff, there's like an 85% chance of a 5 year recovery or life expectancy after all that. So it's horrible to think about, but 5 more years is 5 more years. It's just
Yeah, who knows? And maybe they'll find something in that time that'll help cure it.
maybe, hopefully,
I was
because
gonna say positive.
yeah. All right. Um, did you hear about the fight that broke out the Redskins practice today?
Did I hear about the fight that broke out? Of course, I heard about the fight that broke out. If we can't beat him, why not join him? Oh my God! I went to the game on Sunday. This franchise is a joke, and they're still my favorite team. You want to know how bad it was? I was sitting in $150 seats for $20. I was in the 100 section of FedEx Field. That doesn't happen too often. But now I know why so many teams are loyal, like Buffalo, Oakland, Cleveland, because you can probably get really cheap tickets for good seats. But it's just, I just the line, the offensive line was Swiss cheese on Sunday. I mean, worse than I've ever seen. I mean, Trent Williams looked like he was counting his Pro Bowl votes when that St. Louis Ram blew by him and just destroyed Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy, he said our protection was not good that day. He got clotheslined from the backside and ended up straining his neck. So the last drive of the game, Robert Griffin III actually came in. And so today to hear the fact that Andre Roberts and Bashad Breeland were fighting just because Bashad Breeland deflected a pass, it's just I don't even know what to say. I mean, the Redskins really are the laughing stock of the NFL, and this proved it even more. With that said, I still see Jay Gruden getting fired at the end of the year, and them sticking with Robert Griffin III because there's they've given up way too much. Simple as that. Did you see that what is his name?
Jeff Fisher.
Oh, thank you. Yes, sent out the 6 picks that he acquired, or 6 of the picks that he acquired in the Robert Griffin III trade that are still with the team for the coin toss. I'm sorry, that's a dick move if you ask me.
Loved it. I loved it.
You would love it, but it was a dick move.
Oh, it
Um,
was, but it was genius. Oh, it was.
what
Oh,
do you think? Do you think he's? Do you think that's going to happen? Gruden should
Gruden's
have never.
gone.
I'm
Gruden's
wondering. I'm
gone.
wondering if they had him as a placeholder till something better came along, and it it ran its course way too soon. Do you think that was the case? Because I would have never
Mm,
ever thought of Jay Gruden being.
no, wasn't he
Because
the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati last year?
yeah, for a pocket passer, you cannot turn Griffin into a pocket passer. You know who I'd like to see come? Who should have came in the first place? Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator for Seattle Seahawks. That's who the Redskins are going to be. They're going to be knocking on when the Seahawks get knocked out of the playoffs.
Maybe him and Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator in Arizona. Those are probably the two best coordinators that probably deserve to be head coaches. But their defense is horrible. Their offense is horrible. They need every position in the
I
draft.
think the punter's the best person on the Redskins. He's the only one that's kept them somewhat in games this year. And then of course I had the field goal kicker for St. Louis on my fantasy team, and he botched 3 field goals. I'm sitting there like, man, my team can't win, and my fantasy team can't win because this guy can't make a fucking field goal. So I had fun though. It was great. I just wish the Redskins would try to get something put together that because they have some very dedicated fans, and I'm a member of a couple team boards, and I just see nothing but negativity running throughout the the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, and it's just sad to see because they've been loyal for so long. The only thing that would have me change my loyalty for the Redskins is if they change their name. I'm gonna have a big problem if that happens.
Yeah, I think we discussed this on past shows that I
Yeah,
don't
we did.
I don't think
That's
that
the
they
only.
should change their name. Just it's
Yeah.
been around forever, so it makes sense.
All right, yeah, well, I'm done with the Redskins. You heard my rant.
Yeah, the Redskins suck. So do my Bucks.
Mhm.
Last NFL news, we got to talk about him.
Oh,
Johnny
why?
Manziel. He will start against Cincinnati on Sunday. What are your takes?
He's going to have 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles. It's going to suck.
I mean, what? Why? Okay,
I
I
don't.
I, I
I don't.
agree. I agree. Do you think he should be starting? Is what I meant.
No. Wait till next year. I mean, I don't know. I see the Browns. I mean, they have a decent offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. He was with the Redskins. He's the one that had Robert looking the way Robert was when he first came in the NFL. Um, and he sits there and says that Manziel is as good, if not better, a quarterback than Robert is. I just don't see it. I don't see him getting enough time to make good decisions. I see him getting cocky, sort of like Robert did, and I see it going to hell. Probably a lot faster than what Robert did because when Robert came in, he was with a good team. Johnny is not with that good of a team. Um, but did you see what he lipped when what's his name when Hoyer overthrew that receiver? Did you read his lips or what was said?
Overthrew what receiver on the last drive?
Yeah.
He didn't overthrow him. Gordon dropped the ball. That was a
No.
perfectly thrown ball.
There was one that he overthrew him,
Oh, on the
and
pick?
no, it was just an incomplete pass. It was just an
Oh,
incomplete
I
pass.
don't. I don't know.
But he goes, I would have fucking hit him. I was just like, wow, just like that.
Oh, because Hoyer on the last drive threw a perfectly thrown ball to Josh Gordon. Would have got him in a field goal range. It probably would have won the game. But Gordon dropped it. Just dropped it. Dropped the ball. I'm like, oh my god, why can you not catch that? Like, I could catch that. I got shoulder, neck, and back problems. It was an easy catch, and it was a perfectly thrown ball. And that's pretty much why Hoyer got benched, because Gibson dropped the ball. It wasn't Hoyer's fault. Yes, Hoyer was 1-2 in his last 3 starts with 0 touchdowns and 7 picks or something like that, 6 or 7 picks. Since they lost it, the Colts Sunday, they're 7-6. Tough to get into the playoffs at this point. I think they're only a game out, but
Well,
you know,
they're tied. I thought they were tied with like 4 other teams for like the last spot.
no. I think right now it's the Chargers and the Ravens are 8-5, and the Chargers
Mm.
hold the tiebreaker. So they're only a game out, but they have to have a lot of help to get in. So I could kind of see him going to Manziel, but I don't like the decision because I think I said it on last show that if they went to Manziel this season, that I'd fire the head coach. I fired Mike Pettin, and I still stick by it. I mean, your best shot to win is probably Hoyer. I mean, their defense played incredible against the Colts, except on the last drive. And not Gibson, Jordan, Josh Gordon should have caught that ball, and
Yeah.
they probably would have won the game. So you can't really fault Foyer. Yeah, he's playing like Hoyer. I'm sorry, not Foyer, but Hoyer. He has been playing like shit, but he would have been 2-1 if Gibson caught that ball. Even though he's thrown 0 touchdowns and 6 picks in that span, 2-1 though. I still think gives you the best option. I'm like, we don't know. I don't think Manziel will be that great, but I guess Cincinnati's like 27th or 26th, 27th or 28th in the league in pass defense. So, but Manziel only can throw it up to Mike Evans. So excuse me, don't even know.
Yeah. But before we leave the NFL, interesting fact that I saw. I think it was. I think I saw it like on Monday or something. Do you know the last time the Kansas City Chiefs had a passing touchdown was a year ago
Go.
this coming week against the Redskins?
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty bad. And then, of course, I have Dwayne
No,
Bowe and
no,
Donnie
no, no,
Avery.
not a passing touchdown. A touchdown by a wide receiver.
Oh, touchdown by wide receiver. Well, sorry, but yeah, and then I've got both Avery in one of my leagues, and I got Bowe in another one of my leagues. So, but I just thought that was interesting, and of course, it would be against the Redskins. So, you think that's going to change this week?
Who they play?
Oakland.
Oh, I think Bo's good for one. Maybe. I don't know. They beat San Francisco last week, so I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
not quite
we'll
sure.
get that was a shocker too.
I think you picked them to win. I think I picked San Francisco just cause. I think was my just cause.
Yep, I did choose Oakland. So, is that it for what's his name? Harbaugh.
That's it.
You done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For some reason, Brandon said he's going to go to the Dolphins. And I'm like, what? Where's he coming up with? He says some most outrageous stuff. Like, where's he coming up with this? Like, the Eagles are going to draft Mariota and the Dolphins are going to hire Harbaugh. I'm like, Dolphins are fine. They got Joe Philbin. I think he's a good coach. He's going to stay.
Redskins can hire Harbaugh. I'll take Harbaugh in
He won't
Washington.
go. He won't go to Washington.
No, I know.
He won't go to Miami either. Even if they had a head coaching position, it's either going to be the Raiders. I doubt the Jets, but the Raiders
Or the Wolverines.
or Michigan.
Yep.
So that's why you won't see Michigan hire a coach.
I
Uh,
heard they talked to Gruden. They talked to Les Miles.
I don't
Yeah, they
think
talked
John
to Jay.
Gruden will be a good
No,
college
Jay.
coach.
They talked to Jay Gruden.
Michigan did.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
Yes.
I think Les Miles, even though he coached at Michigan State, I
He
think
won't be
he.
coached.
I think he'll stay in LSU. And I've heard a lot of LSU fans say that they want Les Miles out. And I'm like, the guy's won you 2 national championships. You guys want him to leave
Oh, when
because he had
you saw. Go ahead.
because he had a 9-3 season or an 8-4 season. You want him to leave after one bad season. And it's not even bad. You won double the games that you lost.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we talk college football because that's an interesting move by Florida who they chose as their
Oh yeah, yeah.
coach.
Let's go to the NHL though. Um, the salary cap in the NHL is going up, which is good for players. Which is these numbers will seem low to everybody, but not in the NHL. It'll go up from
Compared to most sports, yes.
69 million to 73 million, which isn't as high because people are thinking around 80, but still that's additional 4 million that you could spend on a on a player so per year. So that's good.
Yeah, no. I mean, I fully agree with it. It's going to give teams a little more play, especially with teams that want to keep certain players. I know Chicago is really getting close. I mean, they kind of stretched their limits when they signed both Patty Kane and Taves to contracts in the same year. That kind of screwed them last year, handcuffed them. But no, that's going to be good, especially with teams that want to make multiple moves.
Speaking of the Blackhawks, Patrick Sharp returned last night after a month with a lower body injury. I do not have his stats though, so I can't tell you how he did.
I don't. I didn't see it. I saw it went to a shootout. I'm not exactly sure how it ended. Where his plus minus rating is, but I did see he did have some time. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring it up real quick. But no, it was good to see him back on the ice. I mean, definitely a need for the Blackhawks. But nope, it's good to see him back. And then you saw Corey Perry. He got hurt, so he's going for what did you say, 3 or 4 weeks?
3 or 4 weeks. Yep.
Yep. So I don't know if that's going to hurt Anaheim or not, but it's definitely it will hurt because they need his grit on the top line with Getzlaf.
All right, I got Blackhawks won. Excuse me, Blackhawks won 3-2 in a shootout. He had 1 assist. He's plus and minus -1, and he had 5 shots on goal.
Yeah, that's actually really good for a return. Did you also see that the Ducks added Brizgalov for I think it was 2.8 million?
He will be a backup, right?
Yeah, he'll be a backup. But the funny thing is they could be easily sign Brodeur for 700,000 compared to having to shell $2.8 million for Brizgalov. The only thing good about Briz is his interviews. If you ever get a chance, watch his interviews on YouTube. They are some of the most insane things I've ever seen. It reminds me of, we don't usually talk about this on podcasts, but or this podcast at least. It reminds me of Ultimate Warrior type of speeches.
Oh
So
yeah.
that off the wall, yes.
Nah,
And
I
the fact
think
that
I'm good if
it
it's
makes it
just like
funnier.
Warrior. I think I'm good if it's about stuff like Warrior's speeches where you can't understand what the fuck that guy's saying. Um, the Ottawa Senators have fired head coach Paul McLean after after an 11-11-5 start. Dave Cameron will be the interim coach for the season.
I don't know if I agree with that. 2 years was 2 years removed from winning the Jack Adams award, and 11-11. That's 500 hockey. Well, I guess not if you consider the five overtime losses. But still, it's still a point that was gained. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger that early. There are other coaches that I think could have been gone. But I don't know. Do you think it's going to work out for him?
For who? Ottawa?
Yeah.
Possibly. Dave Cameron is a respected guy in hockey. Maybe he can give a little bit of a boost to that Senators team. You know, they're in the East, which is supposedly the weaker conference of the two. So maybe they can do a playoff push and see what happens. I don't know if it's the right move either. Someone will pick up McLean though as a coach easily.
Yeah, sort of like how Boudreaux was let go and he was signed, I think, like 3 days later by Anaheim after the Caps let him go, um, and took them to the playoffs. I did see that Ottawa did sign, Daniel Albertson for one game. That way he could skate in the Ottawa Senators uniform in front of the home crowd before he retired last week. So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely a classy move by the organization, even though he left on bad terms. But to have him being able to come back, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, that's that's a classy move, even if they did leave on bad terms. Um, the NHL grants permission to a potential Las Vegas owner, William Foley, to conduct a season ticket drive to gauge the Las Vegas market. What are your takes
Well,
on What are your takes on Vegas potentially becoming a franchise?
I'm sitting here actually looking at ESPN.com, and it's got fan made jerseys, and it's got Vegas as in like the Vegas sign, and it's got a hockey stick with a poker chip. I think it's pretty badass. Um, I like the idea. I like it more in Seattle, but if they're going to do multiple, I definitely think Vegas could be. They've already talked about actually building an arena. They already have the schematics for it and all that.
Okay,
Um,
I know that, but why do you like Vegas more than Seattle?
no, I don't know if I like it more than Seattle, but I like it as well as Seattle
Gotcha.
because their teams. You've seen the turnout in Florida for the Panthers games. Their teams in like Arizona. Move Arizona to Vegas. How's that do you? That's slightly moved north and it's in the same area. So basically, they're just moving north. So would
Mm,
that be all right if you move the Coyotes to Vegas and move the Florida Panthers to Seattle?
I don't know if I like that. I moved Florida to probably Quebec City, so you're still in the East, still in the time zone, still, you know.
Mm,
Um, I think what does the East have like 16 teams and the West has 14.
yeah.
So I mean,
So
you could easily do Vegas
and Seattle.
and Seattle, yeah, and those could be your two teams.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't mind Quebec City getting a franchise. I think they deserve it. They're building a new arena too. Seattle's in talks of building a new arena because the Key Arena is just awful. Vegas is
and
already built.
isn't Maloof headlining that? The owner of the Kings. The
Not
brothers.
not that I
I
know
thought they,
of. No.
I thought they were trying to get it. Yeah, they were trying to get the arena built in Seattle.
Maybe I didn't hear that. I heard it was a local Seattle guy trying to get it. But
I
uh,
don't know. I mean, I those are the three. If we had to, I would. That's the three I would take. I would take Quebec City to bring back the Nordiques, Vegas, and Seattle.
there's talks about putting another franchise in Toronto, but I think that's just
Duh.
dumb. I think that's dumb. Yes, it's
Well, you know what?
Canada's,
They're trying to be like New York. You
but
got two teams in New York,
the
and
Maple.
Toronto's the New York and Canada.
Yes, Toronto's the biggest city in Canada, but the Maple Leafs are just the tradition of the Maple Leafs there in that city. I don't think no one will support another hockey team in Toronto. They'll all go to Maple Leafs games, no matter how good or bad they are. I don't think the NHL realizes that. Is that yes, it's big enough to hold another team, but
Hmm.
will it support another team? Is a totally different thing. I
Yeah,
don't think it
because
will.
too loyal to the Maple Leafs. I do agree with you there.
I don't think it will. And there's probably other cities like Kansas City who, let's face it, they've had exhibition games at Kansas City that's only drawn 7,000 people to a 15,000 seat arena. It's not good. So I don't think
Talking about
Kansas
the
City.
Sprint Center.
Yeah, the Sprint Center. I don't think that Kansas City's gonna. And they built the Sprint Center just to like try to lure the Penguins to Kansas City,
Oh, really?
which,
I didn't know that.
yep, new arena to do hockey and possibly an NBA franchise there. But I just don't think Kansas City's in the market
You
for
already got.
hockey.
Yeah, they have St. Louis, and that's not even a huge market as it is.
Well, St. Louis does good attendance wise. I mean, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. So I mean, they're when they're good, people come. Kansas City, they already had a team, the Scouts, who became, I want to say, the Devils. So,
Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, you're right.
so I mean, I don't think Kansas City's a great hockey town. So they're out, and I even heard, I don't know why I keep hearing San Antonio, but
Yeah, I heard that too.
or Houston, because
But I
all you
mean,
have is Dallas, right? Yeah, all you have is
yeah.
Dallas. So I could kind of see another team in Texas. I mean, Texas is a big enough state to where they could probably get their own, but I don't think they'll be able to be a good hockey market.
So, what's your take on Vegas? You asked me on mine. What's yours?
I'd rather it be Quebec City or Seattle
Okay.
before Vegas, but I understand what the NHL is trying to do. They're trying to get, you know, there's a market. It's an untapped market. You don't have any professional sports teams in Vegas. So, I mean, it's an untapped market. So,
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that.
I think they're trying to be the first there. My problem will be the gambling aspect of it, but even that, I think, won't be that big of a factor. I don't know. I just think it should be Seattle, Quebec City should be thought of before Vegas, but I understand why they're doing Vegas first.
It's all for money,
Oh yeah,
and they got a shit ton of money in that city.
yes they do. Bruins note: Zeno Chara and David Krejci returned to practice for the Bruins. Krejci is not clear to come back, but Chara is, and he could be coming back Thursday against the Blackhawks.
Oh, that's going to be a huge game.
Yep, 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 yep.
Caps just finished a nice 3 game road trip where they won all 3 games. Told you need to get streaky. I just found out that Aaron Volpatti has been sent down to Hershey for a rehabilitation stint and could be back up with the Capitals by next week. Mike Green's looking for hopefully Tuesday being back up with the Caps after his injury. And I just read an article before I got on with you saying that Paul Bissonnette has signed with the Biznasty, one of the best fighters and best physical hockey players in the league. A lot of people probably remember him from his ice bucket challenge, where he was on top of a glacier mountain and a helicopter dropped the bucket of water on him, which was pretty much insane. One of the best I had seen. But he signed with the Monarchs, which is a minor league affiliate for the Los Angeles Kings. So it gives him a little more grit up on the main roster when he goes up. I did read that he said the Capitals did want him, but they couldn't trade away Erskine, which is kind of interesting to me because Erskine's a defenseman. If anything, get rid of Patty and sign Biz Nasty. But no, that's all from the Capitals camp. Just on a interesting win streak right now. So hopefully we can keep it up. Um, every time the past few games I watched, they just get better and better on the even strength play. I think last night against Tampa Bay, the division leading Tampa Bay Lightning, um, he scored 40 seconds in on an even strength play. So that was good to see. He broke his scoreless streak of 4 games.
Bruins went 1-3 on their West road trip. So
Hmm.
yeah, the only team they beat was the Coyotes, which they should beat, and they did. Lost to the Ducks, the Kings, and the Sharks. So yeah, not a good road trip for them. But we got Chara possibly coming back. Whenever Krejci comes back, will be good. And then we get Adam McQuaid back. So we'll be fine near the end.
Oh yeah, no, no doubt on that. Is that it for hockey?
That is it. We're gonna do some NBA. You know, we both are not big fans of the NBA, but we got to touch on a couple things here. The Warriors won their 13th straight game. They're 18-2, and
That's a
I
franchise record.
think I'm the one that picked the Warriors to win the title.
Yep, you
So
are.
yeah, the Warriors are third in the league in points per game. Sorry, fourth in the league in points per game. Third in rebounds per game. First in assists per game, and fifth in points allowed. So they're not only winning on offense, they're winning on defense too. So Steve Kerr is proven to be an amazing coach.
Yeah, and did someone who was just bad mouthing her? I don't know. Someone's bad mouthing her. I'm not sure if I read it was an actual athlete or just a fan was. But yeah, no, Steve Kerr was brilliant when he played the game. So why not be able to translate into being able to be a coach?
So we got a first year coach in Steve Kerr, 18-2. Then we have a first year coach in Derek Fisher with the Knicks, who was like I think 4-18. They are just awful. And Dennis Rodman actually blasts Derek Fisher. Maybe that's who you're thinking about.
Oh, that
And he
could be.
blasts the Knicks, saying that I could learn the triangle in 15 minutes. I don't know why it's taking you guys like 22 games to learn the triangle and blah blah blah. And the thing about it is, it's easy to learn the triangle when you have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. All right, Dennis
Yeah, I
Rodman.
know, right?
So and the guy named Steve Kerr. Excuse me. But you look at this team. You got Carmelo Anthony, Borgnati, Dallenberg, Clanthony Early, Stoudemire, J.R. Smith, Shumpert, Hardaway Jr. This team's not built to play the triangle. They're not.
No, it's built for running gun.
Melo shoots like 40 times a game, and if he's not shooting, J.R. Smith is shooting, and it's a mess in New York. I don't think the triangle is the right fit. Plus, this is Derek Fisher's first year coaching, and he's coaching the triangle. That's because that's what Phil Jackson, who is now I think the president GM of the Knicks, wants their offense to be. Look, let Derek Fisher run the offense that he's used to run. You don't have to have the triangle everywhere you go. All right, especially with a team like this. And I heard they're trying to maybe trade people away from the Knicks because they already have a guaranteed pick.
Yeah.
So there's no point in trading for a person to give you 4 or 5 more wins when you have your pick already guaranteed. So why not trade away like Clay Anthony Early or a J.R. Smith or a Shumper or a Hardaway Jr.? Why not trade away those people get your younger kids to develop and see what you got. Get some assets
Yeah, no, no,
back.
I fully agree with you on that one. I think something's got to be done. Otherwise, Airfish is not going to make it to the end of the year. He might not even make it to All Star break if it keeps up. It's funny. I was watching the Wizards game cast, and they were down by 13 when we first started in the first fourth quarter, and they ended up winning against Orlando. So that Washington Wizards team's on fire this year.
Oh yeah, they actually had a home and home with the Celtics. The Celtics won the first game, and I think the Wizards won in double overtime the second.
Yep. So definitely that Paul Pierce move I think was great. I was definitely leery about it at first after losing Ariza because Ariza was a big part of the team, but no, he just seems to have taken the reign on the leadership on that team, and I hope John Wall's learning from him because he's next in line. I know he is. So
One more bit of
yeah,
NBA news here. Magic Johnson says that he hopes the Lakers lose every game so they can get a better draft pick. I. It's the only sport, basketball, is that you hear these people say, let's just, tank the season to get a draft pick. It's the only sport you ever hear that happening in. And the funny
I don't know.
thing is,
I start to think the Redskins are doing that this year.
no, they're just awful. They just suck. But
Yeah.
but the thing is, they're not guaranteed picks based on record. They're guaranteed.
No,
There's a stupid
it's a lottery.
lottery, which is so dumb. The Cavs are going to get the first pick anyway, but the Cavs are going to win 45 games and still get the first fucking pick. They want to help LeBron out. So, but about 85% of the time, these picks don't pan out. It's like we'll tank to get a top 5 draft pick, and then we get uh what's that guy's name? Michael Bennett or whatever the hell the guy's name was from UNLV.
Oh, 2 years ago,
Yeah,
no
it's
heard of.
like, well, oh, okay, let's draft him. We got traded away, but let's draft him. I think Kyrie
Yeah,
Irving
wasn't
was
that
the
over
only
Anthony
one.
Davis? Or yeah, no, it was over Anthony Davis.
No, it wasn't. Anthony Davis, I think, was the next year.
Oh,
Oh wait, no, because the Cavs had it 3 out of 4 years. That's right. I think you're right. I think it was over Anthony Davis.
yeah, because even the Cleveland fans were like, "Who?"
Yeah,
he had like
and
one good game. It was Michigan or Michigan State, I forget. But he had like a great playoff run in the tourney, and that's that. And everyone was dumbfounded by that pick, including me. I'm like, "Who the hell is this dude?"
yeah, they normally don't pan out, and I think the like Kyrie Irving's the only one I can think of that's really been like pretty good. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
that's it for the NBA. I'm gonna move to the college basketball. Do I have anything of note on my little page here? No, I don't. Okay. Um,
Maryland's 19. I'll go with that.
what was that?
Maryland's 19 in the rankings. They've only
Duke's
lost one game.
Duke's 2. So F off, eh? Um, Kentucky and UCLA announced a home and home series. Kentucky will go to Pauley Pavilion December 3rd, 2015. UCLA will go to Rump Arena on December 3rd, 2016.
You said rump. It's rump.
Did I say Rump? Rupp,
Yeah, he said.
whatever. Adolph Rupp. Rump Arena, I don't give a shit. Rupp Arena in Lexington, which I think they are building a new arena in Lexington, but do not quote me on that. Um, the 2017 Big Ten Championship will be in your backyard at the Verizon Center in Washington,
Yep.
D.C.
Yep, because Maryland's there. That's why. They had no other reason to bring it here.
The 2018 Big Ten Championship will be at Madison Square Garden.
Somewhat your backyard. Somewhat.
6 hours away, but okay. Um,
Again, because of Rutgers, they're trying
the
to.
the interesting thing about this is that the Big East, there still is a Big East conference because you got the seven um, Catholic schools, and I think Creighton and a couple other people are in the Big East now. They will also host their tournament in Madison Square Garden. So the Big Ten is going to move their tournament up a week, which moves their conference games pretty much up a week from like late December, early January to late December. So Madison Square Garden can host. Um, See, it's been in a rotation between Indianapolis and Chicago for the Big Ten tournament. And a lot of people who are alumni of the Big Ten do not like these moves going from Washington, D.C. and then to Madison Square Garden because of travel. They don't like. They can't really drive to the games, now they have to fly. So they think these games are going to tank. I don't think it'll tank. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna expand the idea of Big Ten tourney basketball to the newer markets. It's probably only going to happen 2 years. It's going to happen in what you said, 17 and 18, and after that, it's going to go back to the Big Ten area where it belongs. I honestly think they're just trying to gauge the interest of the people in the East because of teams like Maryland, which I still don't understand why they joined the Big Ten, and Rutgers don't understand why they did it. The Big Ten was always the Midwest, so I don't know. I'm still perplexed by that. And how are we still calling it the Big East if there's a bunch of Catholic schools in it?
Because you still got Villanova, Georgetown, Marquette. Um, who else was in there? St. John, Seton Hall. They're still there. I
No,
mean,
that's
the
true.
conference is still there. I mean, it's just they don't have Syracuse or Pitt now, or Louisville, who now went from the Big East to the American Athletic Conference. Now they're in the ACC. Um, it's all about money. It's all. It's not even. It has nothing to do with basketball. It's all about football, and that's what kind of makes me mad about this a little bit about all these conference alliances because it's only about football. It has nothing to do with any other sport. It's only about football. And
Yeah, I
the
agree with you there.
so I just it just makes me mad. Excuse me, that you have all these teams like you have, and people are like, well, West Virginia, the Big 12 don't make sense, and I'll get to this in I'm gonna make a note right now. We'll get to this when we talk about college football here in a minute. Um, One more thing on college basketball, it has something to do with college hockey too. Is that the Big Ten also announced that they'll have an annual basketball slash hockey doubleheader on the same day. It's an afternoon evening between Michigan and Penn State at Madison Square Garden, starting in 2016.
That's going to be pretty cool. I mean, I love watching college hockey, but it's definitely two his storied rivals there between Michigan and Penn State. So it's definitely going to be worth the price of admission to both of them. What's your take on it?
I like it. I like it. It obviously makes more sense to do basketball first instead of hockey. So, but I like it. I think it's a good idea. Try to get you know more name recognition into the Big Ten. So yeah,
Before we leave the ranks of college basketball, I just want to say I'm looking at ESPN. It says Georgetown wears the "I Can't Breathe" T-shirts. Did you see the thing on Facebook the other day? It's got Kermit drinking the iced tea. Had Reggie Bush saying, "I have a shirt that says I can't breathe," and then Derrick Rose had one that says I can't breathe, and then Kermit says, "Yeah, neither of y'all can stay healthy either, but that's none of my business." I thought that was great. Um, but yeah, that does it for college basketball. We head into the gridiron next.
yes, we will. All right.
A lot of coaching moves going on.
Yeah. Let's start with that. Who did Florida name their? I can't name as their head coach.
McElwain in Colorado State,
Yes, Jim McElwain.
which is funny because Florida is known for a winning school, and I think this guy has lost like 3 games or 4 games a year for the past few years. So I'm kind of curious at why this decision was made.
I don't know either. I don't know. I guess he brings something to Florida that we don't see. When I was like,
That's
who they
exactly what I
hire?
said.
Who they hire as a head coach? I
I was
don't.
watching the bottom line. I'm like, I ain't even heard of this guy.
Um, Nebraska signs Mike Riley as their head coach.
And where's he from?
Oregon State.
Yeah, and the Oregon State just signed someone today.
I'll get to that, but this is what I got some numbers here. Mike
All right.
Riley as a head coach is 93 and 80 overall. He's 58 and 63 in conference. Bo Pelini, 67 and 27 overall, 39 and 17 in conference. And Bo Pelini has won at least 9 games every year. Here is their record since 2008, since Bo Pelini became the head coach at Nebraska. Bo Pelini was 9-11 in Nebraska. Mike Riley was 9-11 at Oregon State. Okay. I'm so sorry. 9-4 in Nebraska, 9-4 at Oregon State. My bad. 2009, Bo Pelini was 10-4. Mike Riley was 8-5. 2010, Bo Pelini was 10-4. Mike Riley was 5-7.
Mm.
2011, Bo Pelini was 9-4. Mike Riley was 3-9.
Ooh.
2012, Bo Pelini was 10-4. Mike Riley was 9-4. 2013, Bo Pelini was 9-4. Mike Riley was 7-6. 2014, Bo Pelini was 9-3. Mike Riley was 5-7. I do not understand, excuse me, why they would fire Bo Pelini and why they would hire Mike Riley.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm still perplexed by that whole decision, but I don't know. Maybe there's something that happened behind closed doors that we don't know about, and we might find out in the future. That's the way
Well,
I look at it.
well, there was some news stories going around that Bo Pelini just had an attitude problem, but with that record, I don't know. I don't understand why they would go for Mike Riley. And they instantly went for Mike Riley. Like it wasn't even like I think 2 days, and then all of a sudden Mike Riley's the coach. I'm like, really? I'm like that makes no sense. And Oregon State found their, like you said, found their head coach, which was Gary Anderson from Wisconsin. Now that shocked me because Gary Anderson was 9-17 overall in 2 seasons. He was 13-3 in the Big Ten.
So what makes you think he's going to make it in the Pac-10 or Pac-12?
In all honesty,
Curious decisions. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's because, well, Gary Anderson, he used to coach at Utah State, so I think he wanted to be on that side of the country. I think that's probably why he went to Oregon State. But it just doesn't. It seems kind of weird to me that he would leave Wisconsin, especially with a 13-3 record in conference. You know, won division title, won the Big Ten a couple years ago, I do believe. So I mean, I just don't understand it.
So will Anderson be coaching Wisconsin against Georgia?
No, he will not. Actually, the seniors on Wisconsin are trying to get Barry Alvarez to coach the game. And he's thinking about doing it.
Now, who's Barry Alvarez? Was he an old coach or?
He was the old coach, now he's the athletic director.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And speaking of Wisconsin, Heisman Trophy finalist Melvin Gordon will enter the NFL draft.
Who didn't see that coming?
I know, right? And speaking of the other two finalists, we have Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota, Alabama wide receiver Amari Cooper, and then, of course, Wisconsin running back Melvin Gordon. Those are three, only three this year.
Yep, Mariota's got it. Cooper will be second with Gordon in third.
I agree. I agree. I actually think Boykins from TCU should have been at least invited
In the discussion,
in the
yeah, I
discussion because
guarantee
his numbers are comparable to Mariota's, so they're like almost identically the same. So I don't
had
under.
Gurley stayed healthy, he would have been in the talk. Had Nick Chubb going from the beginning of the year, he might have been in the talk. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see it being a deep field this year, anyways. So speaking of Georgia, did you see that boy the defensive back J.J. Green? He took over running back when, or he went back to running back from defensive back when Gurley was hurt or suspended. He just transferred colleges, and you want to know where he transferred to?
Where?
Georgia Tech, who sees Georgia once a year, every year. It's a rivalry game, and they're putting him back at running back. So he's going to be running a triple option against Georgia. Knowing how the Georgia defense is, I really think it's a smart move on his part to go to a school where he's going to be running back again. But damn it, don't move on Georgia.
Well, maybe he did it
He
because
should have stayed running back the whole time.
Well, you don't know that he did it because of academic reasons too. Maybe he had a major there at Georgia Tech they didn't have at Georgia. I mean,
Well, that could be. I just don't think that he figured he could was going to be a running back, but not with the emergence of Nick Chubb and all that. But
well, maybe.
and also, did you see that? Did you see that the 5-star recruit Sweat chose a school today?
No.
Chose FSU. Yeah, he landed at FSU. His choices were Virginia Tech, Georgia, Alabama. Want to say Florida and FSU. This guy's top recruit in the nation, chose FSU, so keeps him out of the SEC. So I'm happy about that.
I wonder what Florida State gave his parents to have him sign there.
Oh, Bazing. We'll find out after the football season's over, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, we got a Final Four for the playoff. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, Florida State. Number 4, Ohio State. So Alabama will play Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, and Oregon will play Florida State in the Rose Bowl. Did they get it right?
Yes, and for one reason, and one reason only. Well, actually, no, I think Florida State should be out of it, but that's besides. Since they ran the table, they had to be in it. But the only reason that there's not a Big 12 team is because the Big 12 does not have a championship game.
I totally disagree with you. Totally disagree with you on that point.
Why?
You don't have to have. They said before the playoffs even emerged that there's no problem that the Big 12 does not have a title game. They told that
the Big 12 have a title
they
game?
don't have enough teams. They only have 10 teams.
Oh.
NCAA, you have to have 10 teams. So, but the Big 12 was going to petition the NCAA to have them be, 5 teams in the division to have a title game. But since the playoff committee said you don't need a title game to be considered, they're like, we're not going to petition the NCAA. So the committee pretty much fucked the Big 12 out of this. So it has nothing to do with the Big 12. And if
so in your case, did they get it right?
No, they did not get it right. There is absolutely, yes, Ohio State beat the 13th team in the country with shut them out, blew them out by 50 plus points. Beat the number 13 team in the country with a third string quarterback. Okay. How did TCU drop 3 spots by beating a team by 50 plus points? That never happened in the history of college football. Never. Never, ever, ever, ever. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. They've never dropped a team from beating another team by 50 plus points.
Well,
Never.
we did say this was going to be a learning process for the whole
There
situation.
is. They fucked themselves by trying to have Alabama. And the only reason they had Florida State number 4 was because they wanted Alabama and Florida State to play each other in the semifinal. Because supposedly that's the big money game, even though I'd rather see Alabama Oregon. That would be the game I want to see. Because
You'll see that in the championship.
Well, yeah, because no matter who Florida State plays, they're going to blow them the fuck out. So, because I think Oregon is going to put up points against Florida State, and they won't be able to answer. So, but anyway, they did not get this right. No disrespect to Ohio State, they did not get this right. TCU should be in there. It should have been Alabama, Oregon, TCU, Florida State, like they had last week. There's no way you drop a team 3 spots by winning by 50 plus points. Baylor leapfrogged them. And granted, Baylor beat them. And Baylor also beat like the number 9 team in the country by beating them. So, yeah. But there's no way Ohio State. There's no way Florida State jumped TCU by winning by 2. Mind you. There's no way Ohio State jumped them. There's no way Baylor jumped them.
Yeah, no, I
They
really
fucked
think
themselves. The committee
yeah,
fucked themselves. That's why, if they didn't have TCU 3, say they had TCU 4, and I could kind of see Ohio State, which was number 5 at the time, leaping them, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But when the final ranking came out, Alabama 1, Oregon 2, Florida State 3, Ohio State 4, Baylor 5, and TCU 6, what? No. No. They fucked themselves. The committee fucked themselves, and they had to put Ohio State in. Because they won a conference title game and gets the number 13 team in the country, blew them out with a third-string quarterback. They got it wrong. The best 4 teams are not in this playoff because Ohio State will get demolished against Alabama with a third-string quarterback. Crushed. Demolished. It won't even be a game. I don't care if Urban Meyer has 4 years to prep for Nick Saban's defense. It won't matter. Alabama's going to crush Ohio State. Oregon's going to crush Florida State. And then we're going to have a national. But in the end, I guess we'll have it right because the top 2 teams in the country will play each other.
yeah.
But again, if this was the BCS era, Florida State would be number 1 and Oregon would be number 2. So they'd actually play each other. So, yeah, we'll see that too. And I guarantee you Alabama will probably play Ohio State. So the matchups are right. There's just no way that you can take TCU out, drop them 3 spots in this. There's no way. There's no way.
So while we're talking about the playoffs and college bowl season, which I like college bowl season, it's cool to see. But there's the Bahamas Bowl. Really, we're going to the Bahamas to play football.
Yeah, there's some. Well, they have to. Well, they dropped the Capital One Bowl because now it's the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Yeah, they're sponsoring the Orange Bowl.
So they dropped that, so they had to add a couple more bowl games. And now, like I said, I was wondering why isn't the Capital One Bowl one of like the major 6, bowls? Because that's one of the big ones. But now it's like the Peach Bowl. I'm like, I can buy the Cotton Bowl, but the Peach Bowl hasn't been relevant in years. Why the hell is that a New Year's Day 6, even though it's played New Year's Eve? But whatever. But
yeah, let's just they don't have lines out, but let's just go over the bowls real quick.
oh, I was
All
gonna
right,
wait. I was gonna wait till the weeks, like the games
okay,
that week. That's what I was gonna wait for. Instead of going over
okay,
all the bowls, or we can do it like the day, like the week before, like the bowls or something. We'll go over them all.
okay. Yeah, I just thought they wanted to do the playoff to get rid of all these bowls, but it didn't look like they got rid of
Um,
much actually.
no, the bowls bring in money. So they wanted to keep the bowls but have a playoff. That's why like the Rolls Bowl is a semifinal and the Sugar Bowl is a semifinal. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have a national championship game by itself. So I think that's why they did it that way. But 8 teams, you can have 8 teams, and it'll be you will have the perfect eight. This is the best year to say next year we need to have eight because you fuck TCU, and since Baylor beat TCU, you kind of fucked Baylor because they're really the Big 12 champ. And then you'll have I think Mississippi State and Michigan State. I mean, those are your teams, and no one will gripe about it. No one will bitch about it. Those are the top 8 teams in the country. They should play.
Yep. Wow, I didn't realize that. They took the Military Bowl out of RFK and put it at Annapolis, Maryland, the Navy Stadium.
Did they?
Yeah, that's shocking to me. I thought it was going to be back at RFK.
Hmm.
So, oh yeah, we'll go over that when it gets closer. It looks like the first game starts. All right, so get this: the first game is December 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
It's between Nevada and Louisiana Lafayette. So it's 10 o'clock their time that the game's going to start. That's crazy. 10 o'clock in the morning for a college football game.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yep. All right. So is it time for picks?
NFL picks. Yeah, you got him in front of you. Is that? I
Bring
don't.
them up.
I don't have mine.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go on. Well, isn't it now? It's the last 3 games of the season, isn't? Oh no, not everyone is going division. I thought they were going pretty much though. I mean, all right. Let's start it off. Thursday night's game. We have Arizona and Seattle. Let me see if I can bring up the
Arizona and who?
Seattle. St. Louis. Sorry, St. Louis. STL.
No line.
I don't know. I'm trying to bring it up right now. Nope. Doesn't look like they have a line. Let me just. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know. I'm on the actual, just the schedule.
Oh. I'll take St. Louis at home.
Yep. They got 3,064 seats available for this game from $12 and up. Nice. Doesn't beat the $1 standing room ticket that you could have got at FedEx Field the other day, though. Yeah. Who did you say? You said Arizona?
No, I took St. Louis.
I'll take Arizona. St. Louis needs to be shut down. They can't win 3 in a row. Okay. Looks like we got Pittsburgh at Atlanta.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Oh, the battle of the basement dwellers in the NFC East. You got the Washington Redskins at the New York Giants.
Giants.
Yep, Giants. It's 2 weeks in a row I've picked against. Oh no, last week I picked the Redskins and was way off. Oh, funny story. I went with a friend and I said he wanted to go in the stadium. I said, "Hey, we got to wait. This might be the only chance we hear hail of the Redskins." Evidently, I was foreshadowing because it was the only time we heard hail of the Redskins the whole game was outside in the parking lot. Okay, next we got Miami at New England, which is probably going to be a pretty good game. I can't believe that Tom Brady's 11-1 at home against Miami. That's impressive. I didn't realize he's been in the league that long. I forgot how long he'd been in the league.
New England wins, they win the division. So I'm going New England at home.
Yeah, it's at home. I'm going to go same. Oakland to Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I'm going to go with Oakland again. Can't win 3 in a row, but they can win 2 in a row. Next, you have Houston and Indianapolis.
Indy.
I'm going to go with Houston. And I'm going to say J.J. Watt gets another touchdown.
Possible.
Jacksonville, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, without a doubt. Green Bay at Buffalo.
Green Bay.
Yeah, I'll take Green Bay too. Tampa at Carolina with Derek Anderson.
I'm going Tampa.
Yeah, I will too. Cincinnati at Cleveland.
Cincy
also, yep. Now the cheapest game of the week, you can get seats at LP Field for $8. New York Jets at Tennessee Titans.
Oh, That game's gonna be epically bad. Now watch it be like a fucking like 57-56 game. um, Jets.
Jets, because Chris Johnson will have over 200 yards rushing. Uh, Denver at San Diego.
Denver.
I'm gonna take San Diego. Kind of a shoddy team, but the kind of a streaky team. So I'll take San Diego. Minnesota, Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Detroit. San Fran at Seattle.
Wait, Minnesota Detroit's a 4 o'clock game?
Yep, 425.
Man. Seattle.
Dallas at Philadelphia.
Dallas.
Yeah, Philadelphia's done pretending. Monday night, New Orleans at Chicago.
Do I have to pick?
Yeah, I know, right.
I'm going New Orleans because they seem to like to win on the road.
So the only game that is not a division game is Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Everything else is division. Oh no, I'm
Saints,
sorry.
Chicago,
Green Bay and Buffalo is not.
and
Saints
Saints.
and Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone
But
with
for
the NFC North, well, besides Minnesota and Detroit.
yeah. So all right. Well, this is going to be a bad 3 weeks for my Redskins. So maybe we will get a high draft pick next year, which we need to go O line. We need to get that O line guy from Iowa, and we need to get David Andrews from Georgia. Those are my two O line picks that I want next year.
Tampa needs a running back, an offensive lineman, and I think
We need more linemen. We need an offensive line. Period. We need to get rid of Trent Williams. I'm tired of his shit.
Tampa should draft Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley
Melvin Gordon.
or
No,
Todd
or
Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Yeah.
Todd Gurley.
But Melvin Gordon's probably going to be higher on the list because he didn't have an injury. It's my guess.
That's true.
All right. Anything else from the world of sports? Or is that it?
That should be it, sir.
Yep.
All right.
What do you got? Anything plan to watch this weekend, sports wise? Oh, I know we don't usually talk about it that much. The sport of UFC, but I know you saw the most recent signing. What do you think about it? Think he's going to get his ass kicked? Or you think?
I got a couple things to talk about it. Mr. Phil Brooks. He'll be a huge money draw for the UFC. There's no doubt about it.
That's probably even bigger than Lesnar.
They're going to give him pussies to fight the first couple of matches to make him look good.
Yeah, of course.
And then when he actually faces a real contender, he's going to get his ass whooped.
So did you see who they're talking about possibly his first contender being?
No.
Jason David Frank.
Was he the Green Ranger?
Exactly, yes. They have been talking about it when they were on the Wizard whatever convention they were part of all summer. They've been talking about it. And now Jason David Frank says he wants first crack at CM Punk. Is he going to go by Punk or is he going to go by Brooks? He owns that name.
So. Probably Punk. People know him more as Punk. So, I mean, but still, I like I said, I think they're going to give him a couple pussies to go in there and to make him look good. Then when he actually gets a real opponent in there, he's going to get his ass kicked. And I do wish the best of luck in him. And this is what makes no sense to me, is that in his podcast with Cole Cabana, he goes, I'm always hurt. I'm always hurt. I don't have time to heal. But then he goes to a more physically demanding sport. Granted, he's probably healed now, and they don't fight every night like he does wrestle every night. So that's a plus. But it's hypocritical to be
plus,
like
better doctors also.
What was that?
Said probably better doctors also.
Well, yeah, most likely. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm hurt all the time. Blah blah blah. Now I'm going to go to a sport where I get hurt even more with less amount. Even more in a less period of time. So, like, if his body's hurting for just taking bumps, imagine what it is when he gets a kick to the fucking head. You know? So, yeah. I mean, I do wish him luck. I hope he does well, but my personal opinion is I think he's going to get his ass kicked once he faces a real opponent.
I'll tell you one thing. After listening, because I didn't listen to the podcast right away. I finally listened to it, I think, last week, as I was telling you about. And I enjoyed the podcast. I haven't heard part two of it yet. But I, I'm sitting there and I'm watching the fight. And I forget what we were told. We had a huge commercial going on about something. We were debating on something while the fight was on. And all of a sudden, he turned up on the TV. And I'm like, oh, guys, quiet down, quiet down. And then it said he signed. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't really see that coming. Especially like you said, with all the injuries he complains about from the other sport he had, or the other events he had taken part in. But yeah, I wish him the best of luck. I'm definitely gonna watch his first bout. Um, they're saying he's gonna fight welter or middle weight, so it's gonna be interesting to see who the draw is. So, but no, I just wanted to touch on that real quick without trying to bridge the two podcasts together. But
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope he does well, but I just don't think he will. Plus, he's what 36. I mean, like you
so
said,
I also read a article today that said asking him is he still interested in headlining the big show in sports entertainment, and he says no. Do you think that's true?
no, I don't.
Exactly. He's lying.
I
You
don't.
know he is.
And I heard a couple of people, and we are going to bridge right now. I heard a couple of people said that this is just a publicity stunt to get him back into, to have him do some UFC and then go back to the WWE. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know
what
if
is it?
that.
He said this is what my plan is. I can go to the UFC, make a lot of money, make a name for myself, and then Vince will bring me back. I can have what I want, the title, and work 3 days a year. And I was like, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what Lesnar's doing, but I just don't. Like I said, I wish him luck. My personal opinion is I don't think he'd do well, but you never know. You never know. He can prove
Yep.
me wrong, and that's good for him. I totally doubt he's listening to this right now, obviously, because we're taped, but I just don't think that he'll do well. That's just me.
Yeah. So, anyways, we don't normally cross our two podcasts together, but it was something that we had to cross over. So sorry about all those non wrestling fans that listen to us, but it was something that I just wanted to touch on and see what your take was on it. So, I'm guessing I'm done on topics. You done on topics?
I am done.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, for Matt, I'm Chip Willett. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right, see you
Peace.
guys.